Hi friends, welcome to Data Science and AI Quest. In this post, we are going to discuss the concept of classification of data for statistical and data analytics. So we will get into this topic of classification with some examples like formation of groups or classes for classification and show how it is done in various ways. For example, when academic books of various subjects are taken into consideration, then instead of classifying one's books according to the subjects like history, geography, mathematics, science, etc., one can also classify the books authors wise, that is, the names of the authors, in some alphabetical order or shorted manner as well. So one could also classify the books on the basis of the year of the publication too. The way one would like to classify a book depends on one's requirement and as per the subjective need. Likewise, talking about classification upon raw data, the raw data is classified in various ways depending upon the purpose upon which that data can be grouped. For example, many a times raw data which is not properly comprehensible is mostly grouped or classified basing upon the timestamp or the year of the grouped records, so that volume-wise segmentation of the raw data could reveal some periodic trends. Such a type of classification is known as chronological classification. In this type of classification, data are classified either in ascending order or in descending order with reference to time, such as years, quarters, months, weeks, etc. Extending upon the concept of chronological classification, let us take an example of this case with an example. Let's take year as a variable and population as a variable over the dataset too. So here in this example, we see that the population of a region and the population with respect to the year is shown. So the region in consideration is India, and the comparison is year wise, that is a decade, means from decade to decade this comparison has been done upon the census data. So one can see in the 1951 year the population was around 35 crores, that is 350 millions. In 1961, this figure was around 443.8 crores, that is 438 millions. In 1971, the population was 54.6 crores, which is around 546 millions. In 1981, the population was 68.4 crores, which is 684 millions. In 91, it grew to 81.8 crores with the equivalent to 818 millions. In 2001, the last recorded census, it is 102 crores, that is 1020 millions. Here in this example, one can see how the yearly data has been ordered in a chronological manner from 1951 to 2001 with a gap of 10 years for each. And the comparative value in this example is population in crores and in millions. And the objective is to find out how this growth of population has happened with corresponding increase in the time period. So now, after getting an idea of what this chronological data is and how it looks, one can proceed to another form of classification called the spatial classification. In spatial classification, the data is classified with reference to geographical locations such as countries, states, cities, districts, etc. Let us take an example for understanding this concept of spatial classification. So in the following table, we tabulate the place, that is the country in this example, and the corresponding value to be compared, that is the yield of wheat per acre in that respective country. So the table's name is yield of wheat for different countries, and the countries that are being compared over here is America, Brazil, China, Denmark, France and India. So one can see that the yield of wheat in kgs per acre has been documented. The highest has been documented as of America, that is 1925 kgs per acre. Then comes China with 893. Then comes India with 862 kgs per acre. Then likely the other countries as well, and Brazil scores the lowest with 127 only, that is 127 kgs per acre of yield. So from this spatial distribution table, one can get to see that the yearly average rate of yield of wheat per acre is much different across the different countries that have been documented, and this varies from many other countries as well. So as in this table we have only taken 6 countries, but if comparison for more countries can be done, then that data could also vary for other countries as well. So this is an example of this spatial distribution table. So now going into another form of classification, sometimes one may also come across some characteristics that cannot be expressed in any quantitative manner, which are called as attributes. For example, nationality, literacy, religion, gender, marital status, etc. These things cannot be measured, yet these attributes can be classified on the basis of either the presence or absence of any qualitative characteristic. Such classification of data on the basis of such attributes is called as qualitative classification. Using the cited example, one could also get to see a form of classification on the basis of gender over a population data. Here, in an observation, classification could be done on the parameter of being a male or a female, which could further be classified on some other attributes like married or unmarried. The classification at the first stage is based on the presence and absence of any attribute, that is a male or a female, and after that the next form of classification is divided on the basis of the presence or absence of any other attribute like height, weight, age, income, marks in a certain subject, etc., which are quantitative in nature. When the data collected is bearing such characteristics are grouped into different types of classes depending on these, then it becomes a quantitative classification. So let's take an example for some clarity of the quantitative classification. To compare, here we take a table for comparison of the frequency distribution of marks in mathematics of 100 students in a class. So here we can see that the marks have been provided in the table, and the marks are in the range of 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, and likely till 90 to 100. And each of these marks or the classes have been grouped in an order of 10 series, and along with that the frequency, that is the number of persons who have secured marks within that range, have been documented. So here in this example one can also get to see that from the range that is 0 to 10, one person has secured such kind of marks. In the bracket of 10 to 20, 8 people are there, that is the frequency is 8. In the frequency range of 20 to 30, 6 people lie, and likely from 80 to 90 there are 5 people, from 90 to 100 there are 4 people. So if you calculate all the frequencies, then you will get to see that the total number of people that have been documented in this small classification survey is 100. So this is the table, or this is an example of this quantitative classification. This table shows the quantitative classification of marks in mathematics of 100 students in a class, and these marks fall in some range brackets which have also been specified. This type of frequency distribution expressed in this way is known as relative frequency distribution. Okay, this type of frequency distribution expressed in the range order is known as relative frequency distribution, which shows the pattern of distribution of data between some brackets or ranges with the number of people belonging to the applicable range, which forms the frequency of that table. So summarizing all the forms of classification that we discussed, we first got to see what are the various types of classification, why this classification is taken, what is the order of classification. Then we discussed the various type of classification which is based on time, that is the chronological classification. Then we took an example to display how this spatial classification is done with respect to some geographical locations. And then we took an example for discussing upon the qualitative classification, which is classification done upon some attribute or characteristic of the table. Then we did lastly a type of classification for the quantitative classification, where we brought into picture the frequency distribution table and how some frequencies are mapped onto the ranges of values lying between some ranges. So this will be all in this topic for now. If you liked this post and found it informative, then please press the like button and subscribe for forthcoming topics over data science and AI. Hence, thanks again for watching Data Science and AI Quest. Keep tuned. Have a great day and thank you.